Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have Yay Squeeze in the building for our third interview. Yay Squeeze, thank you so much for coming over here.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And again, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we're filming here again at Daydream Studios over here in Texas, man. Y'all are the best spot for the best studio on the world. Yay, man, how do you do it, man?
Man, I'm staying out the way, man. You know how I am. Just trying to make more music, make more content. You know how I am.
Yeah, wow. My respect to that. Again, we kind of mentioned this before you came in, but your new visuals that are recently coming out, man, spectacular visual. I mean,
Appreciate it.
kind of want to jump into conversation a little bit with that. So I want to ask, so like, how, like, for this new, this aesthetic you're working on, was this something that you've always been planning in mind? If you kind of jump in there, it's like, hey, I know I want to do this kind of new visual. Like, I want to do with this aesthetic, or is it something that you work with? Was it more of a collaborative thing?
Right. Well, man, once again, I always got to give credit where credit is due, man. Daydream does a very good job of making my dreams come true, man. And, I came to them with an idea and they amplified it. So it's always important to have a good team, especially somebody who's wanting to achieve the same thing that you are, So, a lot of those ideas I like to throw out, but I'd be a lie if I said they didn't amplify them. There's just great people to work with, man. I recommend anybody who has a dream, go ahead and chase up to those guys because they'll definitely get your goal, done.
Mad respect to that. And I just realized, man, before we started talking already like that. There was a little bit of a bio of yourself, man, just like a little who you are, what you do, and everything. Should have started off with, but hey.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, as we said before, my name is Yay Squeeze, man. I am an artist from Dallas, Texas. I kind of dive into R&B, hip hop. Just depends on what I'm feeling that day. Not too special things about me, man. I'm a father. Love my children, man. Juju, Kissy, hey, daddy said hi. But yeah, man, pretty simple, man. I'm just a kid with a dream, man, from Dallas, Texas, and I just feel like I'm different than a lot of people, man. And so that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me grinding, man. That's what keeps me consistent. And ultimately sets me aside from a lot of people that are in the same category that I am.
Mm. So when you mentioned R&B, what are some of the influences that you have from R&B artists? Like, you usually look at the 90s golden age, where you have like Kira Shepard and R&B players in there.
Right. Man, I'm such a mad scientist. Like, I consider myself to be a pack rat. I gain inspiration from almost any and everything, man. But if we're just going off of earlier inspirations, I have to give shout outs to the Kyles, the Tierra Wax. If we're going a little bit deeper, we can go into a quest called Tribe, or we can go into Sade, or we can go into it'd be so hard for me to just name every single one. Goes into what I was saying, like, I'm such a pack rat. It's like I can gain inspiration from Lego My Eggo waffle popping up from a toaster. Like, it could possibly be anything that can get my attention. But yeah, man, definitely that alternative hip hop and R&B side is where I was. So like I said before, you have the Tierra Wax, you have the Kyles, you have the Sminos. That's kind of the bag that I kind of fell in between. So I definitely say those guys for sure.
So definitely are those more like East Coast? You're more East Coast now, or is that more like the West Coast after? There's someone
Right. So, those guys are so in their bag and they're so creative that they really don't leave a stint on where they're from. They really don't represent. I know Kyle, he's from the West Coast. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tierra Whack is from Philadelphia. So they never really fall into one genre, and that kind of defines me. It's hard for me to find myself doing one genre or just attacking one, base of the game. I look up to those people because they weren't afraid to jump outside of that box. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that they were able to just do rap or just sing, but what drawn me and inspired me by them is the fact that they were wanting to jump out of that box, and they ultimately succeeded in it, man. So I would definitely have to say anything alternative, the Tyler, the Creators, the Earl Sweatshirts, Frank Oceans, just that whole wave there.
I like that. No, because it's essentially it's more like your whole thing is like challenging, like the what you would call it, the baseline or what's been established. You're essentially just want to be different from the establishment, and that's generally where where real innovation comes in, right? And challenging what's the box. Like, okay, well, let me throw let me throw in a little bit of salt this time. It's like you said, like you changing the ingredients all the way. Right. That's different, man. Real creative stuff right there.
For sure. For sure.
Let me see. So you say you're a fan, so you're a dad. You have kids, right?
Right. Yes. I have my son Marquise, and I have my oldest Juju. He's a junior. I love those guys, man. They make a better me, man. They push me to be consistent in the grind, man. When you got something to work for, something to come home to every night, it'll really keep you on the straight and narrow. And yeah, man, I couldn't be any happier, man. I love my boys, man. For sure.
Hey, I'm mad respect to that. It's always great to have like that. It's a support system, man. Especially with this kind of business. Any support you can get is very appreciated. Like in the arts business, and especially from family. Especially from family. I love a family support, man. Is pretty much indescribable. Right. When it comes to like the kind of love and support and like aid you get.
Yeah. It's a different kind of push, man. Like I said, I mean, you can be motivated by a lot of things, but when it's family on the line, man, it's a whole different grind. It's a whole different hurt, and it pushes you to go a little bit harder than it would, to other people, man. So definitely for sure.
So when it comes to so I kind of had this conversation with Psyche earlier, and I kind of want to hear your perspective on this. What is your approach when it comes to working with others and like just trying to be in that collaborative team? Because sometimes a big struggle for artists is when you work collaborative, it's like making sure you don't lose your main focus or like that seed that you planted in your head. Right. So how does that really work?
I'm always willing to expand, man. There's not a genre that I wouldn't touch. Do I have my comfortable areas? Yes, I do. But I mean, I love it. I am a genuine lover of music, man. So, as long as it has a beat, a snare, some kind of rhythm, man, I don't mind collaborating at all. I think the hardest part about collaborating is really location. We all know that Dallas is not one of the easier places to collaborate with, just depending on the genre you with. But I recommend people just stay in their lane and stay in your wave. You know what I mean? There are always people that are looking to collab. There are always people that are willing to work. You just have to go to the right places to find them. And, it takes a lot of digging too. A lot of artists, kind of like to stop at the first plate. My thing is if I meet with an artist and I say, hey, man, I love your work, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to follow up. So if I dap you up and I say, hey, man, we're going to link up. We're going to link up. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to see you. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to send you 100 DMs, whatever I have to do to get that to happen. I'm going to make that happen. And I feel like that's what sets me aside from a lot of people who claim that they like to collab. You know what I mean? If I lock in with you, if I feel like we have a vibe, it's nothing to go in there and write a track. You know what I mean? That just comes easy off. So, I'd say I'm very open to collabing. I mean, is it hard? I say it's hard for the people who make it hard.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think, like you said, you have to come in with that kind of like with your personality, where you're coming from, is you have to be open to collab. Right. Like I said, especially in where we're at with Dallas. Like Dallas is, don't get me wrong, don't diss against Dallas. Oh no, Dallas is a beautiful city. Okay, well, lots of talented artists. The thing is like I feel like competition here is like a lot of people take that competition edge a bit too serious. It's like that really too hard. Right. I think that's one of a lot of the big flaw about that is like, it's not a race, it's a rally. Right. It's a marathon. It's about who get to the finish line first, so he gets that big deal, I get the most clap. It's still about like, hey, how far can you make it individually, and then how he can do to help you each other out.
Yeah, man, I've always looked at it as almost like a human ladder. Like if I get to the top and I can reach my hand out and somebody can grab my hand and then somebody can grab their hand and then somebody can grab their hand, I've accomplished whatever I need to do. You know what I mean? That's the goal, to have everybody eat. You feel what I mean? If you ain't helped me cook dinner, you can't sit down at the table expecting to eat. That's another issue that a lot of artists have. A lot of artists they want to make sure that they grab their fork and knife to sit and eat, but nobody wants to help prep the cornbread. Nobody wants to help. You know what I mean?
Let's get the ingredients.
Right. You got to get the ingredients. You got to get the Kool-Aid. You got to have all of this to work. And like I said,
Walmart. You got to take the walk to Walmart.
you got to. The food stamps or something. You got to use something to get that right. But no, in all seriousness, you know, a lot of artists do have a problem taking that extra step and jumping out of their comfort zone to collaborate with a lot of artists. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, we're all on the same team. You know what I mean? We're all on the same team. You look at Florida, you know, you see that a lot of them may not be cool, but when you look at Florida, you know it's Florida. And that's because those guys, they move around alike, you know what I mean? And they kind of go by the same way. Dallas could do the same thing, man. Dallas could do the same thing. We just have to find those people. And I believe personally that Dallas is on a way bigger wave than it has been in the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, we got some nice people coming out, man. We got some guys, man. I mean, I don't want to forget everybody, but you have people like Debbie Stones that, you know, that have been cooking for a minute and they're kind of just waiting to just bust through that cylinder. You had those people like Jubilee Valley who have been setting a trail for the past 3 or 4 years and they're just waiting to bust through that next cylinder. So it's just a matter of just, you know, we got people like Davy Jones, you know what I mean, who are really nice. Shout out to my guys.
Oh, those tabs, I get them for real. And they're really out there like putting that grind.
Oh yeah,
putting just shows. Especially with like the last time I worked with them with the Not Another Rap Show, man. That was truly an event.
I didn't see that. When was that?
That was like bad. That was like in November or like late last year, like November, maybe October of last year. It was a House of Blues. It was a really good.
Oh, that's big.
Everybody was there. Apparently, it was sold house at the House of Blues.
Oh my God,
sold out show, and it was actually shout out to them too because they invited Texas. They invited me for a media pass, and it was my first time. It was my first time going to the House of Blues. So I've never been to the House of Blues before, and already my first time, man, I got to go to the green room. I got to meet with so many talented artists, man.
Right.
So many talented people over there. Get to talk with them and meet with them. You know, that's how I first met 40 Ounce. Right. That's how I first met Yellow Jumps. A lot of big name people, man. Right. Like you said, Dallas is on the way. I think this also speaks for Texas, man. You got Big Extra Plug now coming in big wood moves, putting Dallas on the map, putting Texas on the map, and also Cash Page on her tour.
Right.
DJ Saucy D out there killing.
Shout out Saucy D, man. Saucy D is nice.
Yes, sir. Just a lot of great art. And man, this might be in the Renaissance. We might be heading in a wave of Renaissance that Dallas might never seen. So right. I was talking with people. I like, and I'm hear what you think. So a lot of people have been thinking like, you know, back a little bit, not too before it was Chicago drill, you know, where it was the big wave was that upper ed. People are saying that it's going to be like another wave of like Southern rap's going to hit big. Like we're going to go back there. Like the Camelot's going to go back into South like it was early 2000s. Ooh, I want to hear your perspective on that. You think that's true or you think or like?
Man, in my opinion, Southern rap, well, first of all, Chicago is a whole different breed. Like that's a whole different breed, man. As you know, that's a whole different breed, right? Yeah, right.
The weight was there.
Oh yeah, it's there. Nonetheless, I don't think Texas music ever died. I think we had to jump out of, like I said earlier, we had to stop being comfortable. You know, the beats, the sound, the topics. A lot of the stuff that we were talking about in Texas was repetitive. You know what I mean? But you know, it never died. You always had mob ties that was bringing the heat. You always had people from Louisiana, NBA YoungBoy, that whole camp out there. The South has always been on top. It's just like Andre 3000, we got something to say. And I feel like at this point in time, we're speaking so loud and so clear that people can't avoid hearing us. You know what I mean? Like, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. You feel what I mean? And I can't say for everybody else, but I know goddamn well that's what I'm here to do. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Southern rap has always been there. It's always been one of the most inspirational genres on the planet. You know, like I said, I think it would be hard for me to say that we ever fell off, you know, but I would definitely say we're switching it up. You know what I mean? We're switching it up. Yeah, and like I said, we're coming deep this time. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a this person here, this person here, this person here. It's like, no, these people are coming in packs. Like I said, you have Jubilee Valley, but you have the whole one way, dumb way squad. You know what I mean? And you have Debbie Stones, but you have the whole I forgot the name is what's the name, but you have front runners for these groups, and then you have the rest of the group following behind them. And that shows me one thing. It shows me that we're breaking out of that being selfish thing. You know what I mean?
The ego.
We're breaking out of I'm too good to put this person on. You feel what I mean? And so that's scary. That's scary business. You know what I mean? Because, you know, as we said, that's been the issue this whole time. It's been us not communicating. It's been us not collabing. It's been us hating on each other. But now that we're seeing that kind of compress, it's like, all right, now we're starting to get somewhere. So yeah, man, don't ever think the South is dead, man. I don't know who said that, man. South has always been alive, baby. That's all we do, but yo.
Hey, not for real, for real. With the next question I want to ask is coming from a musician standpoint. Like, what would you say in terms of your process of making a song or a track? Is your hardest one? Which step has been the hardest? Is it the rough draft, like the brainstorming, like getting ideas together, or is it the editing where you gotta switch some things around? You gotta take away some lines or take away some beats, or is it like the mastering? Like, which process of this of the production of music is the most challenging to you, and how do you overcome it?
Well, one thing about this, I will not write if I'm not in that mood. If I'm not inspired, I never force anything. You know what I mean? So it could be something where I go 6 months without writing a song. When I write that song, goddamn it, it's heat. You know, I would say that the hardest part for me, honestly, is the day before the drop. You know, I'd sit here and be lying if I said every artist doesn't have that nervous feeling the day before they drop, because you're anticipating it. You know what I mean? You're thinking about what you could do, and you're thinking about the worst thing that could possibly happen. And, you know, it definitely gives me butterflies. I usually overcome it. I found this interesting thing on Instagram the other day. A girl said a lot of people complain about having likes, right? 20, 30 likes. But if 20 or 30 people showed up to your doorstep and supported you, how would you feel? And I really had to sit back there and be like, wow, damn, I know I'm only getting this amount of likes on here, but imagine if every single person walked to my door and said, here, we're here to buy the A Squeeze album. It would rock my world. You know what I mean? And so thoughts like that make me say, you know what? Put it out there. You know, shoot it out there. And I feel like, you know, every artist can be macho and tough, but every artist has that butterfly feeling where they're like, okay, if I drop this, it may not do as well as this. Or if I drop this, it may not reach those expectations that I was hoping. And the best way to get over it is just say, fuck it. You know what I mean? Just to know that you're doing it for you and not anybody else. You know, when you get stuck in that phase of doing for others, it starts to make everything unorganic. You know what I mean? And we always want to be organic. We always want to be real. We always want to be the closest thing to it, you know? So I'd say just, yeah, man, just you want to make sure that you really just say fuck everybody else. Can we cuss on it? I had to make sure, man. I had to make sure. But yeah, just fuck everybody else, man. You know, at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your world, it's your career. Everybody else is what they say, NPCs. Is that what they say? Everybody else is NPCs. They're not there. So that's how I overcome it. Other than that, the writing process is like butter. Like, I don't freestyle. I hear a lot of artists. I've been in the studio with a lot of artists that say, hey, you know, I can write it all, and it sounds pretty bad. I mean, I can freestyle it all. It sounds bad. You know, there's nothing wrong with writing. You know, a lot of people tend to say, oh, well, I can go in the booth and I can freestyle. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But a lot of times, a lot of people wonder why their shit sounds rushed. And that's why. Because you want it to be Lil Wayne or Jay-Z, somebody you're not in going there and freestyle a bunch of shit. Now you have to come in and do a bunch of takes. The engineer is pissed off because he's re-recording the same spot. It's just too much, man. So
Some process.
it's a huge process, man. And it gets to the point where it's just like, you know what? If I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to freestyle. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? It's just when it's time, I go out and do it. But that's about the hardest part, man, I can honestly say.
Hey, I respect the genuineness, especially, I think, like, I think when it comes to freestyle or writing, I think for me personally, it doesn't come from our personal perspective. I think there's writing is just more sincere because it's coming out of your thoughts. It's not like, it's more of like, you're thinking like you have to reach, I guess, a certain level of emotional intelligence, or like you have to dig deep in yourself to say something you want to say. Freestyle, yes, the same thing, but it's more of a wit. Right. Like we're running gunning type of thing. But writing is like you have to pick specific words and all that.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to writing, what are some of your inspirations? Kind of like, because some people say they listen to other albums. Some people say that something new recently I've heard is that they would read literature books, like books, like somebody somebody I know who said that he's writing his lyrics, and one of his main inspirations was reading Dante's Inferno. Since he said he likes the language of like the old like Italian horror, the dialogue, like all that, right? Like how can he mix that up with that? So I'm just curious. Like, do you just listen to other rappers that inspire you, that just kind of like gives you that flow, or what are some other sources you go for inspiration?
It's mainly emotion. It's mainly how I'm feeling. I mean, it could be something that pisses me off. To the point where I can't do anything except write. You know what I mean? Excuse me. As far as other artists, I don't really pick the things I want to be inspired by. You know, it could be something where I'm in the car and I hear a Drake song. You ain't now touch you, it takes that right around, and I might get home not even thinking about it and say, "Yay, squeeze on the beat, got a left hand." But so, I don't necessarily pick and choose what inspires me. It's something that just happened, but I will say that emotion plays about 80% into what comes out when I'm writing or when I'm preparing for content. It definitely just depends on my mood for sure.
Hey, that's that's an interesting point right there, because when it comes from your emotion, from your heart, it's very genuinely like,
Right.
like it's something that you vibe with, and it's like a part of your true self. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you pick that from your heart. So I respect the ones that have been like, I'm here for the art, I'm here for the grind, but I'm also here for the person, my next, I'm here for my neighbor.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I say, if I make it and I'm not able to bring my family or my people that's been doing this with me for the past 10 years, then I failed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like I said, these people actually came in the kitchen and they had the sugar and they had the seasonings, and somebody bought the cream beans and somebody bought the. So when it comes time for me to eat, I need those people at the table.
Hey, man, that's me on.
You feel what I mean? Hey, man, I might just stop somewhere. No,
Start right, but sure, not, but yeah, man, that's it. It's all about it's always about because another thing too with. And this is the thing that's different from the art business compared to like somewhere like say a corporate job, is that it's really all collaborative, because there really is nobody else.
right,
It's very self-determined. It's very you're your own boss,
right,
and it makes a whole hell of a difference when you have someone that's like another artist, whether it be like either a videographer, or a writer, a rapper, or hell, even a big producer,
right.
like a big DJ that will like your posts. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that they or share, even like those even small acts like that. We're in that same boat. Like we're artists and we still support each other in that little circle.
Right.
And that's the one thing I always respected about like this kind of industry. From as an outsider looking in, it's like, I like a corporate job where it's just like, everyone's out their own, and it's like, you grab your lunch, I'm grabbing my lunch.
Right.
It here is like in this business and in this community, it really is, we're out here for each other type of it.
And that's the thing. I'll take a crumb. I'll take a crumb just so the homie can get another crumb. You feel what I mean? Like I don't mind that. I said I've been at the bottom of the bottom, and I've been at the highest of the highs. I don't mind getting a little bit of bread just so the next homie can get some bread. You know what I mean? I feel like if a lot more people were like that, this would be a lot more easygoing than we think it would.
Life will be a lot easier. It'll be a lot less challenging for sure.
Right.
People have the same mindset.
No, for sure.
What other careers or pathways would you consider outside of music out of curiosity?
Man. I don't know, because I always wondered who like cleaned billboards. Like that, I've always I know, don't laugh, but I'm serious. Like I want to know who cleans billboards. Those are the You know, because you never really see those guys. That's something that I really like to do is like clean billboards, like replace the billboards.
Like this, like a big ad.
Yeah, because it's like you never see the guys who's actually up there. Like I just like that kind of stuff. I like being real high up off the ground. You know what I mean? Just looking down on everyone. And I feel like if I could not be what I wanted to be in rap, at least I could still be over everyone physically.
Anderson. That's very perspective. I think that,
Yeah.
on the one hand, yeah, everybody was down hard. Everybody, right? And you know, you're doing a service. And
Right.
plus, there's some really beautiful billboards. I know some photographers that actually would call the billboard company and say, "Damn, can I take photos from this billboard?"
Right.
You know what I mean? So you,
Or like the guys that change the lights that are like 100 feet or 100 yards in the sky. Like those guys, those are cool guys. Yeah, I think how much is it? How much do they get paid when they go up there and change the light bulb? Is it
question.
I think it's like they change it once a year, and I think they get like 20,000, 30,000. It's a crazy number, man. But 30,000, I'm climbing that. I'm climbing 100 yards. I have to. But yeah, man, I definitely do something like that for sure.
Light bulb, an entry level, around 22 an hour. Dang.
So, hey, brother, listen, that's some good money, man. In Texas, eggs are $8 a carton, man. I'll take that $22 an hour.
Nah, for real.
Bang.
What's going on with Texas?
It's crazy, man. I almost bought a horse the other day.
Right?
Gas prices is crazy, man. I thought about it. I didn't almost, but I thought about it. I was like, man, this shit is getting bad. But yeah, man, that's Texas for you though, man. California is turning into Texas, man. That's definitely what I think.
What do you think? Like, I'm curious. What do you mean by that? Like, man, out of California,
It's just so dry now. Like entertainer wise, like I remember at one point in time it was like Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? You had that whole wave, but it now seems like everybody's transferring. You got different reasons. You got the housing market, you got job opportunities, you got just better living, new sights to see. So I feel like a lot of those people from the West Side are coming over here so they can experience a lot of the things that the Southern people experience. You know what I mean? But I love LA. I love my people out in Cali, man. Those people are riders. Man, I love some LA culture, man. Like I love it, man. If actually, I don't know if you would ask, but if I had to pick a state or a city where to do my first collaboration, it would be LA, hands down.
oh yeah, LA is like the more from the capital and T. Oh, your name. That's where all the big record producers are. Especially with my case, that's where all the studios are right there.
Right,
All the big studios are right there. Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount. So this is the capital of entertainment.
right.
It is what it. I mean, it's a city. The reason why it's called the city of dreams for a reason.
Right. I really just love that like that grittiness they have right now, man. Like they just had this like don't. Like it's just I don't know, man. It's just nice, man. I love it. I respect what they're doing up there. I also love Jersey right now. Jersey is so crazy right now.
Jersey.
Like that whole like wave of like I forgot the name of it. But Jersey's on fire right now, man. What is it? What is the song by Uzi? I can't think of it.
Want to rock?
Yeah, I just want to rock. What is the style of that?
I always thought it was definitely like a mix of,
Like, what do Jersey people call their mixes? I can't think of it. Is it Jersey mix?
think so?
Well, let's just stick with Jersey.
I think it's Jersey.
Let's just.
I didn't know it was.
No, he's actually Philly, but the style of music he did was like Jersey. Like, it's like you do the juke. I don't.
Interesting right there. I need to think. Because I get a lot of the big spots, a lot of people, when they talk about, like, capital, they want to say Atlanta is the hot spot. Right. Where I'm on it, obviously, because that's where, quality control, what was or is. I just recently heard something about they got a buyout.
Yeah.
They walked in.
Freak Thugger, too, man. I did Freak Thugger, man. Free Young Thug, man. Freak this shit.
But I thought what situation with quality control. I mean, personally, I don't know how you feel about the whole buyout situation, but I think it's like, I've always, I took a I always thought for business it's good to sell. So I mean, you have the funds to get more money.
Right.
But I don't know much about the deal like that. So I'm not sure if it's like they sold it off like just outright, or is there some benefits to like now they have access to like, because they sold to Sony. So does that mean that they get access to like the Sony equipment, the Sony people to get the music right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm confused about the business too, because I see a lot of artists selling their masters and like having their catalog sold, and I'm like, okay, if they sell this catalog, can they still perform the song? Can they still go out and make new music? I'm kind of trying to find out about it myself, man.
So what I can understand, and I might be wrong here. So when you sell a catalog, it essentially meaning that you buy out, like you essentially give up your royalties on that,
Right.
or a big major buyout.
Right.
Is that type of thing. You can still perform the music, or still own you can still perform on stage and stuff. The only thing you can't do is that essentially you just don't make money off of it for streams and stuff.
Off streams and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So it's essentially a way of like saying I'm retiring from this whole thing, because another thing too, when you're still on your right, you have to like always have a lawyer on you to make sure they always revise the copyright. Always revise all the paid stuff. Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm just looking at this from like a basic surface level perspective on this, but the artists I see that sell at the catalog, they're mainly like $80 because they're not performing anymore. They're already done with the stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, you have newer ones like Future. You have I think Metro Boomin was in talks about selling his. There's a lot of newer artists, people that are still like dropping hits, and they're like getting rid of their catalogs. I would imagine it's because they can just make more.
That's true.
Hits,
They can make more hits. And I think also it's just like, what's worth more? Just having I think it's like when you're with a buyout, it's like you can charge like however the hell you want. It just depends who's the biggest bidder.
Right.
Like you can charge like, instead of like, you can have 10 years, like another 30 years of royalties, or just mark up the price worth of 30 years, right? Worth of 60 years, you know what I mean? Like there is no indefinite number of just and there's no indefinite number of your worth. It's just a bidder type of situation.
Right.
I don't know, man. We'll see. How quality control goes for it. I'm pretty sure they still keep the artists. They still have their artists under their belt. They still have the same management and everything.
Right. Shout out to QC, man. Shout out to QC.
Yes, sir. Let me see. We'll see. Let me see. Another question I want to ask is, I already let me see. You watch anything? Because that's the wave right now. And effective.
Man, no, I do not. I feel like for me to say I watch anime, I would have to watch it thoroughly. I've like taken steps to like start watching Attack on Titan. Like I got through that first couple of episodes. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna hit you with a trick question. Is Boondocks anime?
It's a style of anime. It has the anime style influences. I think when they think of anime, most people think it has to be from Japan.
Right.
But I personally consider it like anime has just become so mainstream that now it's more of a style.
Right.
That you have inspiration, because people say Avatar's anime because the quality of it and everything. But it's like, it's made in America.
Right.
Nickelodeon.
Right.
Which I always found kind of funny. And I mentioned this to one of my homies. It's just like, it's funny because you got to think about it like this. Think about this. You're in 2006. This show will be sandwiched between a new episode of Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob. And all of a sudden you get a chapter this epic. Well, yeah, that's what it was. That's just the thing. That's what made it memorable. It was just so out there.
Now, you know what's crazy? I hate to say this, but I didn't start watching Avatar about till 2 years ago.
Really?
I just started because they, I think they dropped The Legend of Korra, like right after.
Yeah, and so Korra was like a few years after Avatar.
Right, and so I had caught myself watching Legend of Korra thinking it was Avatar. And I'm waiting for the guy with the blue arrow to come out. He never comes, and it wasn't until one of my peoples was like, nah, dude, like, it's a whole 2-3 years of this that you need to watch. So I'm kind of diving into that.
Yeah, I know. Avatar is one of those like spectacular anime. Well, people will get angry just for me calling it anime because, like I said, a vast majority of people that are really passionate about this. Like anime, in order for anime to be anime, it has to be from Japan. It has to have that Japanese production company. It has to have that sub over the dub type of thing. Which to me, I might have some hate comments right now,
Oh yeah, they're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
If they come at me, I think it's bullshit because now it's like anime has just become so mainstream and so now it's popular here in America is not popular all over the world. Because remember, America is like whatever popular is in America, everyone's gonna follow.
Right.
Like look at K-pop.
So, and that's what I was actually going to say. So my thing is like, first of all, I personally go into these anime groups on Facebook with burner accounts and I piss them off by saying Boondocks is an anime.
Hey,
If everybody's wondering, it's me. It's a fucking anime. I feel like you have a Japanese writer. You have a Japanese style of fighting. We can agree. The only thing that we're missing is the sub overdub kind of thing. And it confuses me because if you take American/Korean music, it's K-pop, right? But if you bring Korean art and Japanese art to America, it's always going to be Korea and Japanese.
like separate.
You know what I mean? And I never understood that. Like you guys, like it could be something where we switch over and you guys can mess with us and make K-pop, but you can't mess with it's weird for me. That's weird. I don't get it. I don't get
The thing, I didn't even think about that. Well, I know one of the main reasons why you can't mix, and this is a little bit kind of like play a little bit little devil advocate, is that you can't mix with with Korea and Japan. It's got a little bit more like social thing, but they hate each other.
Do they really?
Yeah, there was all Korean. Well, back in the 50s with the cold Korea,
Oh my God.
they hated each other. In World War II, like a little bit of history lesson for everyone, but Japan did some really horrific shit to Korea back in World War II. Like they did some horrific shit. Like you look up if you want some examples, look up comfort women in Korea. And to this day, Japan has not forgiven anything. They are not.
Was it like a concubine? Like, is that what it was?
It was like think of the Holocaust. Essentially, it was the Holocaust. What German did with the Jewish is practically what Japan did. Nobody talks about this, but it's such a real, and they talk about this in Korea a lot, and that's why Korea and Japan is just like they're pretty much hate each other.
Okay, I wouldn't have known. So is it like a West Coast East Coast thing, like where they just on spot?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
But there's some interesting. I watched this video that talked about this, and it's like there's a reason why Korean drama or that Korea is recently getting into the entertainment industry, and they've been pumping more stuff in Japan. It's because anime, because they saw Japan coming in America. Say, oh, you think you can just take America and be mainstream? All right, well here's our K dramas, and then you got Squid Game. Everyone's talking Glory, the baby now. On Netflix, like K dramas, you got B movie. I love the movies.
Now I'll tell you this: I love some Korean R&B.
Really?
I love Korean R&B.
What is a Korean?
What is the guy? It's this one cat. His name. The song is Sunset Boulevard. I think it's Ho Young is his name. HOHYUNG. That's my guy right now, though, man. Like he's made me completely fall into that genre. I think you got a guy named Johnny, eight barrel Johnny or something like that.
Hoyun says that, but I never even knew.
Yeah, bro. When you get some time, man, it'll change your perspective on music because he's tapping into his American English, but it sounds so well. Like it sounds like he's been here his whole life, man. And you can really feel that soul, and it's actually interesting to see other races and other nationalities feel the same exact way we feel using the same exact tools that we use. It's amazing, man.
That's interesting.
It's amazing. You got to check them out.
Oh, you can. That's it. Bullet Earth looking to this. I didn't even know Korea is going into R&B.
Ah, man, they're going crazy, man.
Korean styles are going on a whole new wave right now. And I think like later on, if this continues, man, we're gonna see. I mean, they're already big right now. Like you have BTS.
Oh yeah, that's
Z-Stream, Twice 7, and now they just announced their second world tour to come into Dallas, I think, or something.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, now Twice is like an old girl K-pop. I listen to them. I really like a lot of their stuff.
Okay,
Their cool stuff.
Yeah, I know BTS is a big thing. I know if you get a McDonald's meal, you a big thing. I know that for sure. That sauce, I don't know too much about BTS, but that sauce that they had at McDonald's, that sweet time, I know you remember they had a sauce, man. Say that sauce is amazing.
I
put that shit on every.
Wow, no, that is true. I think with the BTS stuff,
Right.
that's actually pretty.
That was pretty good, bro. I think it was like a Thai chili or like curry. I don't know, bro. But they did their thing on that one. They did that.
It was tasty as
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
It was.
Oh man, I think we'll see where things are headed. But if you ask me, if the way things are going, because anime is blowing up
For sure.
but I don't know about the Japan live action dramas. They haven't been invested a lot of those in there. So Korea's been like just diving in. Like I said, the newest series on Netflix that was talking about is The Glory. I've heard K-drama. I think from what I've heard, it's like the same production company that did Squid Games, but it's not the same people, but it's the same company.
Now, who is the guy that just won the Oscar? It's a great movie, man. Or the Emmy. Is it not? I think he made Parasite. Not Parasite.
Or are you thinking of like the last one that won?
The last one that won.
Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I have to check that out.
That is definitely an A24. That's an American. That's a really.
Is it a good movie?
Oh, it's spectacular. I saw that thing. Creek House when it first came out in theaters, man.
Yeah, because I heard a lot about it.
It's a trippy movie. I will say this: it's one of those movies where you gotta have watch more than once.
Okay.
Like it's a trippy movie, but it's super well made.
Okay.
I could go on all day why I love the movie. Main reason why is because it finally proved again that, right before the Oscars, I was talking with one of my friends, and they were saying like, how come martial arts movies don't make in the Oscars? And it's like, well, yeah, they do. They still making martial arts movies to this day. Like, look at John Wick, bro. Like, what do you mean martial arts is dead?
Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't think we've had a good martial arts movie since. What do you want to say? Ip Man, maybe? Ip Man was kind of like, Jet Li, he was I'm talking about that phase. Like that phase was like.
Yeah, no, I don't think it ever died. It's just like not as mainstream as it was before.
Right.
But this was the wave when Jackie Chan was there. And Jackie Chan. But then now that Jackie Chan is kind of like not retired from acting, but like sort of like slowed down a little bit of his martial arts because he's getting a little bit older.
Right.
But, you have a lot of new, people coming in. You have, again, Everything Everywhere All at Once from the Martial Club, which if you didn't know, they started off, doing YouTube videos of like martial arts, adventures.
Oh.
They started off as a YouTube channel. They did little short videos of just martial arts fight scene. And then, they're now choreographing for Everything Everywhere, and they did Shang-Chi.
That was a good one. That was a good Marvel one. I was surprised Marvel pulled it off.
Oh yeah,
I was shocked. That was a good one.
That's definitely. I thought it was all right. I like the fight scenes for sure.
Okay.
But I really just wanted a little bit more of the storyline. But I guess it's because it's like one of those like.
I think we got enough for the first like introduction of Shang-Chi. I think it was enough. I think of course they're gonna have to double back and have some follow up with it. But it gave us, it pretty much brought us in who he is. It gave us a similar storyline from the comic books. I would say it wasn't too much of a difference, but I think they did good, man. I think Shang-Chi was. Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi?
I've heard both, but I heard most of the people say Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, because I don't want to say it wrong, and then I just sound. But yeah, that was definitely a good movie, man.
Did you say that's your favorite movie?
Oh no, sir. What did I just see? Oh man. It got me. I don't know. Black Panther is always gonna be my favorite Marvel movie. Besides
this. Because I recently just saw the second one, and I'm not gonna lie, the first one was great, but the second one, it was so much more emotional.
Of course, you got Chadwick not there, which definitely threw a kind of a hammer in the road. But I think they still pulled it off. I'll say though, if I can't go with Black Panther, if I can't pick out one of the two, Endgame did it for me. Endgame was like, it was the perfect cap to Iron Man. That was Endgame. That was the last one, right?
Yeah,
it was the perfect cap to Tony Stark.
The whole era of Marvel.
The whole era, that whole because what does Marvel call their
phases?
The phases. That was the perfect way to end the phase for sure.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think for me personally, my favorite one is Guardians of the Galaxy, because I love how they really brought like a group of nobodies. Nobody knew what the Guardians of the Galaxy was. In fact, when you say that before the movie came out, they would have said it's like the most corniest title of like something from like these like the 50s sci-fi movie, you know?
Yeah.
But then like, you know, they gave it to a talented director, shout out to James Gunn, of course. And like they basically like essentially you can tell they just gave him this project like, hey, we don't know what to do with this. Do something.
Make something out of it. Yeah.
And he just went above and beyond with that, you know, with volume 1 and 2 where to me, those are some of the best ones because those were the Marvel movies. I personally love movies that are always about character and like hero's journey. And The Guardians of the Galaxy was the best one where you learn who everybody is, who you know, you learn from Groot, Star-Lord, Grax, everyone in the crew, and just really see their struggle and who they are as people, you know. He didn't focus on like, you know, they're superheroes. They were like, no, these are people with flaws, but they just happen to be like, you know, in a crowd of
And I'll tell you something too. Hoes love Baby Groot. I don't know what it is about Baby Groot, but they love Baby Groot, man. Groot. They have Yoda. It's the same. So I guess it was little and green. It's just okay.
What is a little money sign, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Man. So we have a lot of content coming for you guys here within the next 3 to 6 months. July, we will be going on our first Texas mini tour. Be a couple of cities that we'll be getting by. We're still getting that together, but it'll definitely be happening. Also, get ready for a couple of drops here in the next couple of weeks. You can expect to see a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of R&B, but it'll definitely be worth the time and worth you guys as well. If you guys want to find any of my old content, any of my newer content, you want to follow me on Instagram at YaiSqueeze, Y-A-I Squeeze. If you want to follow me on YouTube, it's the same thing, Y-A-I Squeeze. Yeah, man, we'll give a shout out to my mama. Hey, mama, I love you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is, again, thank you so much, Squeeze, for coming over to, you know, for the interview. Again, everyone, thank you. Shout out to Daydream Studios and Daydream Media for this. If y'all like this interview, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Squeeze.
Hey.